Welcome to the Intuitive Therapist Podcast with Janis R. Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as the angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen.
Hey y'all, Janis here, the Intuitive Therapist here on the Intuitive Therapist Podcast. If you're like most people, you have figured out how to hide behind the masks, posturing, and pretense that most people do. You've learned to play the game of the herd. Now, if what I said bothers you at this point, well, good. It means that I've touched a nerve inside of you, called you out, pointed directly at you. And that's a really good thing because I want to talk with you about what it means to show up in your truth, how to stop fearing what other people will think of you, and how you can improve your life in leaps and bounds when you do life naked. I've spent the majority of my life fearing being seen, and the funny thing is, I love the spotlight. Pretty duplicitous, right? Well, it's been a struggle for me, and a really, really big struggle. And as I hear back from many people, men and women, it's a struggle for them too. So I wonder if you still struggle with that. And the funny thing about life, the way I think about it, is that it can tend to shut us down, toughen us, harden our skin, because life can be pretty dang hard. And so we build this armor around ourselves. We learn how to be based on family expectations and society's expectations. And if you're like most people, you figure out that if you follow the rules and present yourself in a particular way, that you'll find more acceptance. And in my opinion, that's a load of crap. But we've all bought into it, haven't we? We've all done it. Now, there are some of you who don't do that, and I applaud you. But y'all are few and far between, because when people encounter those of us that are showing up naked in life, true, transparent, limitless, we feel it inside of us. It bothers us. We judge it. We think it's bad or wrong because we're not alive and open and free and living naked ourselves. You see, most of us figure out how to play the game of life and to do our best to succeed based on other people's rules. And what happens when we live our lives as if we are other people, as if their rules will work for us because somebody else lives by them and has A, B, C experience, we tend to get out of alignment with who we are as individuals. And that never, ever, ever leads to happiness. Just trudging, suffering, and feeling separate from oneness is really what it feels like. The masterclass series that I'm teaching is a foundation that's based on connecting with intuition. But that's not the nature of the series. In fact, it's far from it. It's based on the foundational belief that if you're in touch with your personal power, where you know exactly who you are, then hearing and following your intuition is easy. And as a result, life becomes easy. You want to hear something pretty freaking funny, though? Most people don't really know who they are. They'll say they know who they are. But we all know aspects of ourselves. But those aspects that aren't desirable, well, they get locked away deep down. And we cover them up so well, or we try to, in hopes that they don't get found out, that other people won't be able to see them. The things that we hate about ourselves, the things that we reject about ourselves, those shadow parts. And recently, within the past 2 months, I developed a dermatological issue on my face. Now, I'm somebody who loves to wear makeup. I've been a makeup fiend since I can remember. And each morning, I put on my face, I do my hair, secure my jewelry, and off I go to move through my day. Each morning, putting on my makeup became a time of reflection for me, like a practice of meditation. Only I wasn't always putting it on because I felt good about myself. Enter my skin issue. Somewhere, some product that I used caused me to develop what the nurse described as contact dermatitis. And because I try a variety of new products to enhance my look, I have no idea what caused the flare-up. The space around my eyes has been dry, red, itchy, swollen, and the backs of my ears are impacted as well. And of course, there are spiritual meanings to all of this, things that I'm working on. And the reason why I'm talking about what I'm talking about today is because this is a huge part of why I have developed this. That my search to live life naked has caused this. And my movement forward living life naked is resulting in this. So I've had to let go of putting on my morning face of makeup. And while it was an adjustment, I learned some valuable things. One, that the more I tried to cover up my inflammation, the less myself I felt because I was too afraid. What are people going to think? What are they going to notice? What are they going to say? Two, that I found liberation in being forced to abandon the mask that I put on each day. Three, that I became more in touch with who I am, took more risks to show up publicly, and felt more at peace than I ever have not wearing my makeup mask. And four, that it was a test for me. Am I walking my talk? I've been reading a wonderful book about frequency, vibration, and energy. And what's become apparent to me is that the more I do me, the real me, the closer I get to my true frequency, the one that is closest to source, and the easier my life has become. And I teach this in my series. Of course, I go into great detail about this, and I help the participants learn how to do this. And if you are ready to find out, you can still join the series. But suffice it to say, when I do life naked, I feel more covered up than I ever imagined I could feel. I feel more protected. I feel limitless. I feel closer to God than I ever have before. I feel closer to the truth of who I am more than ever before. And I listen to and follow my divine and intuitive guidance easier. I take life easier. I receive messages quicker. I feel stronger, more empowered, and I'm better able to truly walk my talk. So many people struggle to achieve this sense of true freedom. And while I'm still working on I'm feeling totally free. My liberation from all the bullshit ways I was living life is actually expanding. And I've chosen to use my life as a way to help others, to help women become their truth, to help them grasp onto and embody their personal power, as I've learned to do, and to help them finally accept and trust themselves completely so that no decision is too difficult to make and no action is too scary to take. So if I hadn't learned these lessons myself, I wouldn't be here speaking to you, and I certainly wouldn't be given the privilege of helping others do that. When you do life naked, you can be covered from head to toe in clothes and makeup and still be fully transparent. And as long as you're really comfortable with who you are, how you show up doesn't really matter. When you decide to reconnect to your personal power, you change the game for yourself. You stop looking outward for answers and guidance and get all the information you need from within yourself. You stop looking for approval and start doing things based on your own rules and your ways of doing things and what lights you up. You don't care about what your family thinks, right? It doesn't factor in. What projected judgments you fear other people will have of you don't even matter because you're so good with you. You're high on who you are and you feel fearless. You just do the things, all the things that you want to do, and you do them your way. And you defy your limiting beliefs and perceived limitations. So doing life naked is a fucking blast, I gotta tell you. And it's like the shackles have been removed and you can do, be, and have whatever you want. How does that sound? So the bottom line is you end up mattering most to you because you listen to yourself first and trust yourself completely. Because you don't give a rat's ass about what anybody thinks. You don't really care. And it's not like you have your middle finger up. It's that it doesn't matter. You're good without it, right? You're good without what people think. You're just being you. And whoever gets it, gets it. And whoever doesn't, doesn't. And it's all inconsequential to you. This is what living life naked means. And it's the most fashionable way to live your life. So I ask you, what are you hiding behind that if you weren't, you'd be showing up more fully, truthfully, and honestly in your life? What would you let go of in your life? What would you bring in? Who would you let go of? Who would you bring in? The choice is yours. End the facade or stay hidden, fake, and dishonest about who you are. I personally choose to be naked because people feel that shit, they align with that. And you know what? Just like I've recognized this feeling in other people when they've shown up naked as models for me, I know that the people who hear me and see me do that secretly want to be that too. Because there is a place inside all of us that wishes we could just be who we want to be and know that it all works out, that we don't suffer for it, that in fact we win. So I challenge you to find ways to be naked in your life, to do it from a place of love and compassion for yourself and others, and notice what takes form in your life. And when you feel the exhilaration from the sense of freedom and liberation you experience, you'll finally understand why I'm talking with you today about this. Now, go and get naked and do life your way. Show yourself and everyone else what makes you you. Isn't it time? I wish you a blessed day, a wonderful week, and as always, live intuitively. And by the way, if you're a woman and you want to join my intuitive development mentorship masterclass series and you haven't joined my private group, reach out on Facebook, The Intuitive Therapist, find my page, ask to join, and the links will be there.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend. And be sure to give us some stars and a favorable review at Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen in.